Hello, and welcome to the next series on the channel. As you can see here, we're inside of NHL 11, the start of the 2010-11 season. So here, playing as the New York Islanders. This is another Jersey Quest BAGMO. This time, last series was a NHL 13 with the Dallas Stars. This time, we're in NHL 11 with the New York Islanders. So this kind of is a quick introduction video and whatnot in terms of how this recapping the how the kind of series works and the player focus and the jersey of focus and all that fun stuff. So here we're playing as the New York Islanders 2010-11 season. That season in real life, the Islanders were really bad. That was kind of part of the dark days of the New York Islanders. They were not very good. They finished second from the bottom in the East. They missed the playoffs for the fourth consecutive season. But as I kind of see, the player focus for this time though is if I go to I have to go to the coaching options here. Go to edit lines. To the AHL. Player focus this time. You see here is Micheal Haley. That I don't understand. Seems like here both EA and the trading card makers did not realize his name was spelled Micheal, which I guess is, kind of unusual. Most people spell it the way it's shown on the screen here, but his name is actually spelled Micheal. Micheal Haley. As you can see here, kind of 72 overall grinder, listed as a center here in the kind of the AHL at the Islanders. You're kind of wondering why is Micheal Haley the player of focus for this, but I'll kind of get into that in a second. Just kind of updating my spreadsheet here. So likewise, kind of like an AHL player who didn't really do much with the Islanders at all, kind of player of focus. Kind of primary reason is this twofold in the sense that the first one is kind of that number 59 is kind of like number 43 last time with the Dallas Stars jersey quest. There's not a lot of options in general, and then for the Islanders well, guys, in general, there are decent options, like Roman Josi, who is number 59 and whatnot. But in terms of my collection focus, kind of like Islanders and other things, there aren't really many options. So Micheal Haley really kind of was the best option just in general, and also because during this 2010-11 season, or during this specific season, is in February 2011, there was kind of two matchups between the Islanders and the Penguins that kind of are very infamous, kind of in Islanders history both, and then in general NHL history kind of the second one. But the first one was I think it was February 9th, if I'm not mistaken. It was 9 days. I think it was February 2nd was the first meeting between the two, where that was that kind of the game that kind of was really the beginning of the end for the end of the end, beginning of the end for Rick DiPietro as Islanders goalie. Because that's when he got in a fight with Penguins goalie. Uh, Penguins. Penguins goalie. It was Brent Johnson. Okay, Brent Johnson. He got in a fight with Penguins goalie Brent Johnson. DiPietro got punched in the face once, went down, fractured his face, and somehow had knee swelling. But I'm guessing it was probably just already there, and they just didn't realize it until after they had to scan him after he got punched in the face, had fractures in his face. That was So that was kind of really the beginning of the end for Rick DiPietro, and then that game was also where Matt Cook kind of was skating through, he had an instance with DiPietro with the game, and also then was that Max Talbot kind of concussed Blake Como that game. Then just kind of conveniently there was the next matchup was I guess 9 days later on February 11th. And that game essentially was just a giant brawl with a hockey game mixed in around the place. So there was a couple hundred penalty minutes, several line brawls throughout the game and whatnot. And kind of in terms of that, also the Islanders actually just absolutely destroyed the Penguins that game. It was 9-3 was the final score. But kind of Micheal Haley was one of kind of the central figures involved in that February 11th giant brawl. He had 3 fights that game. He had the total penalty minutes of the game was 346, and then Haley himself had 39 penalty minutes of the game. So he had a tenth of the penalty minutes just on one guy, because he had 3 fights. He was kind of involved in the first fight of the game. That was kind of a one-on-one fight in the first period, and then he kind of during the second big brawl, after Trevor Gillies hit someone on Pittsburgh and kind of gave him a concussion, a huge brawl ensued from that. He fought Max Talbot, And then after like he got up, and I think like, the refs were kind of assuming he was just going to skate to the penalty box, he went down and challenged Johnson to a fight. So he was trying to like fight the Penguins goalie, but that kind of got swiftly interrupted by a Penguins player coming flying off the bench, kind of willing to take a 10-game suspension and kind of stop Micheal Haley from like beating the crap out of the Penguins goalie. But he also scored like the other thing kind of funny is that he scored. Let me see. His NHL career, he scored 11 goals, and like his first goal of his career was during that game. It was a pretty impressive goal, which I'll kind of like in the description. I'll leave like a link to both the like two different YouTube videos. That kind of one has like the most of the fights in them, so you kind of see like Mike Haley doing a lot like the fights he was involved in. And then the second video will kind of be time stamped to like show him scoring the goal. It was a pretty impressive goal that game for kind of a guy who was mostly known as a kind of a grinder, an enforcer, a fighter. It was a pretty impressive goal from him. So kind of those reasons are like kind of limited options. And like the option that was available was a pretty cool one in terms of just that like absolutely crazy game. And like it was his first goal as well. That's why he's kind of the player focus for this one. And then the jersey of focus, that game was at home at Nassau Coliseum. So it's going to be the kind of Islanders home jersey, which is like was the first season they kind of went back to their their kind of their roots, like the good colors, like the kind of not navy blue, but like more like a lighter blue color they kind of used back in like the dynasty days, and they use it now pretty much. So that was like the first season they kind of brought back the look that we've had from then until now, pretty much, which is basically throwing it back to our original look. And that's like so it's a Reebok home. I can actually probably just like if I advance, it's not like anything's really gonna happen. If I advance the day, kind of like I did last time, and it's like go to like show it here in the game, that's probably a lot easier. Conveniently, the matchup here against the Penguins. This was the matchup, pretty much the jersey matchup in that game. As the Islanders wearing like their home jerseys like this, Penguins wearing their away jerseys like that was the matchup during that game. And that kind of jersey on the right there is the kind of the jersey that style of jersey that Haley was wearing that game. So that's kind of like two put together. In terms of kind of the rest of it, like because last time remember like it was NHL 13 was like the weird lockout shortened season, so it wasn't like the schedule matched 1-to-1. This one it should match up 1-to-1. So kind of this first season might take me a little bit longer to actually get through. But I'll like do like kind of try to match it up the wins total to our kind of dismal. I think it was 30. Yeah, exactly 30 wins. Kind of match up to our dismal 30 wins, and then kind of from there keep going. Kind of again, this is also kind of very similar to the last one, where like right as it stands now, Haley like at a 72 overall is not NHL ready really. I don't think. If you look at his like, what will it say? Let me go back to the line kind of thing. Coaching options, edit lines. Because it usually says kind of like their thing. Oh, does it not in this game? I guess it doesn't really, unless I go to NHL lines, will it say? Like, if you look at like John Tavares, huh, that's interesting. It doesn't seem to say like if they're like kind of first line, second line. Let me go to like free agency and see if it says that, like in that kind of screen, free agents. Nah, it doesn't, I guess. That's interesting. I guess that's just all their attributes. Huh, okay. That's very interesting. So yeah, I don't think like 72 overall really is like NHL like material in this game. So he's kind of it's gonna be a similar station with like Alexiak. We're gonna kind of let him grow in the AHL for a little bit. Hopefully, he kind of hits a decent potential, and then like if we do make the playoffs and whatnot and go on a deep run, he'll get chucked in like the Stanley Cup Finals and whatnot. But that's kind of it for now, I think. So like this is kind of the introduction. Actually, will be at the end of the 2010-11 season, where like we should, unless like the game just like goes crazy and thinks the Islanders are a wagon for some reason, we should miss the playoffs. So I'll kind of just go over quickly what happened that season. Haley stats to the AHL. If he grew it all and overall in our kind of free agency moves, but like as I said, that's kind of it for now. So thank you for watching this video, and hopefully you watch the next episode as well.